All right. Welcome to what will hopefully be episode 4 of the Audacious podcast. Audacious After Hours. Audacious podcast at night. As always, I'm Jack Hyman with my co host.
Sev and Jones, hello.
And with us today are our two good friends.
Sam.
Whoa! Yeah, and David.
David was here for another episode, but we had to throw it out because it was fucking boring.
It was bad.
We talked about Middle East. That's all we're giving you.
All right. So we're all here tonight. We're a little bit tipsy, some of us drunker than others. And, I kind of want to start this off by talking about, how the four of us kind of came together as, a friend group, which really began in, our sophomore year of high school when we all got together for D&D. David and I were together as friends from middle school.
David.
David and I were gay sexual partners.
David wasn't there when went back in.
Well,
Sam told me jokes in the lunch line. And that was about the extent of our relationship before all this started.
Yeah, I know we went back, or Jack and I went back to, all the way back to elementary school.
Oh, yeah,
right?
when we were having gay sex.
Yeah, back then in elementary school.
Yeah.
We were having gay sex.
I mean, we technically knew each other, but we weren't really friends until we started walking home together.
Yeah, for
From-
sure.
For gay sex?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think the turning point was really when I discovered that Jack, he had a bar in the bottom of his house, and that was just something that was unheard of. I couldn't comprehend that, and so I was like, oh my god, I need to get and see this bar, and then there's this big TV and Halo. Whoa. And so I was like, okay, yeah, no, this is. I'm
There's
all right.
benefits to being my friend. Like
Why?
a bar and a big TV. and
Yeah.
Halo. I'm glad our friendship is based on material possession.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's really what
The
I'm here for.
vanity.
That's all life is. But one question for you, Jack, is why haven't we ever used your bar?
Well, good question. Moving on. So, we were friends up going from middle school into high school. Kind of became I guess also since most of our graduating class from middle school went to the rival school, and me and David went to our high school
With us nerds.
yeah, since I think I knew 5 people going into high school, and David was already a close friend, and I think we just grew closer because of that. And then going into sophomore year, we had been trying to play D&D for a while, couldn't find groups, couldn't find people to do it, didn't have the money to drop on books. When David, you came to me one day and you said, hey, that guy Severin and Sam, they're thinking about starting a D&D game. Do you want to join? And we kind of just from that first session forward, even though we had all known each other.
Yeah, we weren't strangers. We just weren't friends yet. We were
Yeah.
all acquaintances.
Yeah.
And then that first night, I felt like brotherhood.
Oh, no. Yeah, we definitely really
Yeah,
connected.
definitely.
We had a lot of fun. I miss those nights.
That being said, beforehand, I had met Jack, Severin and I kind of became close, our sophomore year, junior year.
definitely.
But I had
Jokes on
met
the
Jack
punchline, yeah.
9th grade in health class.
Freshman health
And,
with Miss Garul.
that was...
Oh, okay. According to her alcohol charts, I should be dead.
Same. Yeah, no.
She is that health teacher where we got the sticky tape on our hands and then we touched each other, and that was a representation for sex. And then as the tape became less sticky, sex became meaningless.
Is that
Oh, that makes sense.
That's
So, I don't think so.
But Jack and David and I recall, one night we're staying over at Jack's house, and
Right.
we were wondering what to do, and none of us had ever really played D&D before, and we had like dice, and we had a couple pre-prepared sheets, character sheets.
We have a D&D starter pack, and we didn't
We
read
did.
the rules.
Yeah, and you know what? I remember the only experience we all had with D&D was like specifically Jack and I had played D&D a single time with a friend of ours who kind of understood D&D, but we didn't really go by any of the rules. We didn't make character sheets.
Our barbarian had 32 armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was later.
No,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
another
We're talking
time.
about like way before this.
Yeah, no, we literally, okay, I think David DM'd it, if
Yes,
I'm right.
yeah.
Yeah, and he just made up shit until, we played until like 7, 8 a.m. And, like, we would just, like, he'd be like, all right, roll for that, and we'd roll, and he'd roll, and if we got a higher roll, I think, you remember?
Absolutely. Most of the stuff was like, oh, there's a person and they're gonna like swing their sword at you, and I would roll a d20 and they would roll a d20, and if their d20 had a higher number, oh, whoa, clink goes the sword, and you like kill him, ah, and that was kind of how it went.
Fortunately, Severin actually knew how to play D&D.
Well, so my dad played D&D for like my entire life.
Nerd dad.
No, my dad's a hella nerd.
Lucky.
No, we started with basic expert because in my mind that's D&D 1. It has to be the
Holy shit,
easiest.
we did start with D&D expert.
Basic
Oh my
expert.
God.
Oh, my dad had all those old books from when he was in like high school. I think he bought them. I don't know. It was wild. It was a lot of fun. But we played one game of that, and my dad said, "Why aren't you guys playing 5e?" And I'm like, "Well, because we're playing like D&D 1." And he's like, "No, 5e is so much
Now
easier."
you're fucking casual. Get out of the room.
So yeah, we went to 5e the next session, and it's definitely a lot easier.
We became casuals.
We did become casuals. We were playing basic expert. Like, man, you don't even get a pick if you want to be like a human fighter. You just a fighter, and you an elf. Elf was a class.
God. You didn't have classes or races to choose from. You had...
Thing. What are you?
Oh, God. Oh, man, I completely forgot we started on basic expert.
Mhm.
I did enjoy that, though. That first dungeon we did, I still remember it, like, solving all the puzzles on the first floor and
Yeah.
scaring the shit out of kobolds with magic.
Like if you guys decided to rest on one of the beds, that you had to go to the other bed on the other half of the dungeon, and lay that person down on the bed to wake them up. I don't know. I thought that was
Oh
a
my
fun
God, Sam,
fun
you-
puzzle.
You used to play your characters like such a dick. I remember...
Used to.
Used to?
I have, to be fair, I have not played with you in a while, as I've been either your DM or you have been mine.
That's
So
fair,
none
that's
of
fair.
your shenanigans have really stuck to my heart or salted my soul.
Because as DMs, we don't care. Your shenanigans end up in your downfall anyways.
I'm just guiding him through what he wants to do, But like I remember everyone was like, okay, we're all gonna take shifts going to sleep and we're not gonna move from this spot, right? And then Severin and whoever was taking that shift would walk into another room because the rest of us were asleep, wouldn't know what was going on. Severin and Sam walk back into the room and announces, "You all awake with a start," as Sam's character comes running back in and says, wake up, shit's going down." Evidently, he had snuck off in his sleep, leaving us exposed and gotten at some centipede monster to chase after him.
He was writing it. He was writing it.
Oh, right.
You guys
wrote
heard
it
him
at some
shouting
point.
down the halls as he barged. So you guys didn't really like find a place to sleep. You guys just ended up sleeping in the hallways because this location was just all hallways. And there were a bunch of centipedes walking around it, and they just didn't search enough. They went to bed, and the rogue sneaks off and tries to go look for treasure while everyone's asleep. And he starts riding the centipede, and it woke up the other centipedes too.
Yeah, no, okay. I can
Why do
explain.
you
I can
play your
explain.
characters like this?
Okay, I saw a treasure, and I just approached it and tried to open it, right? And turns out the centipede was right next to it and woke up and was guarding it, and so it tried to attack me. And me being a rogue, I tried to jump on top of it, and I succeeded in that. But then I tried to stab it, in which I succeeded less so. So I chased it around I rode it around trying to kill it for a while, and it just kind of didn't. And then it eventually started running towards everybody, and so I had to wake them up and alert them that I had snuck off.
So this was during the poppy era.
Oh,
right?
Poppy.
Yeah,
Oh
Poppy.
God!
So do we have to explain?
Do we
have to
I
explain
think
this?
we've actually
Yeah, no.
I think we talked about this
Please
last time.
definitely no.
I don't
I
think
think you
that
just spelled that on the curve.
but that's the forgotten episode.
No, I don't. That's this episode too.
That was the episode Lost to the Middle East.
Okay.
Never say that episode was lost in the Middle East. Because even though you're correct, I don't like hearing that. I do got some extravagant questions for you guys. If you want me to hear some.
Okay, get rid of every question that begins with mom, please.
No, I don't have any mommy questions.
Thank fucking God.
All right. So, if you were a werewolf, right? No, listen. If you were a werewolf,
Yeah.
would you tell your friends, or would you try to keep it a secret? Why? Jack, you can go first.
If I told you I was a werewolf right now, would you believe me?
Probably not.
Absolutely.
Probably not. But
Anyone
here's the thing.
listening to
Would
this
you tell
and
us?
met Jack, they would agree with you.
Well, Severin, now that you mention it, yes, I'm a werewolf.
But if you were really serious, I might actually believe you.
I'm a werewolf, Severin.
You're not being serious enough, Jack.
I'm telling you. I stalk the night under a full moon. That's why I'm always tired after full moons.
I don't think you are tired after full moons, Jack. I think we've talked about this
I have
specifically
sexy-
about how the full moons don't affect your sleep schedule and you just sleep regularly.
You never noticed how dogs get along with me really well? Just universally, I meet a dog, it likes me.
Your 3 dogs.
Not just them, but dogs inherently like me. It's because I'm a member of the pack, Severin.
You guys back him up on that?
Can you cooperate this?
I cannot corroborate, personally.
I have hair on my chest, look.
I can see that. Yeah. No, there is hair on his chest, so
Severin, I know you just brought this up as, a silly question, but I'm confessing to you now. I'm a werewolf.
I'm gonna be legit with you, Jack. I don't believe you.
Exactly my point. So what's the point in asking?
Well,
Or telling?
Well, exactly.
No one would believe
Are
me.
you trying to mislead me? Are you actually a werewolf, Jack?
If I told you the truth, you wouldn't believe me, Severin.
But that's the point.
well,
What if you're just telling me that just to throw me off, and you're actually a werewolf? And you're just trying to keep it a secret.
and I'd also like to point out as fun as of a bit as that was, I feel like in real life you could kind of do it a little bit more seriously than that. Although,
What do you mean in real life?
Okay, well then, David, we'll just pass the question on to you.
oh,
If you were a werewolf, would you tell us?
Okay.
let me think about that.
Okay,
now let me ask all of you.
werewolves,
Have
do
any
not
of you
exist.
seen Teen
Werewolves
Wolf?
do not exist.
Severin.
Werewolves do not exist. Would you tell us if you were the only known werewolf? Would you tell your friends?
Okay.
Okay, so I've seen Teen Wolf, right?
David, it's okay. It's the right moment, all right?
Yeah.
And in that
Severin?
movie, He becomes
Severn.
a basketball star.
David and I are werewolves, and we prefer the term lycanthropy.
All right. So you become really good at basketball if you were a werewolf.
Rawr.
Fucking
That
kill
doesn't,
me.
that doesn't answer my question. Would you tell us as friends? Would you tell us that you're a werewolf?
I mean,
Whether or not we believe you, would you tell us?
I mean, maybe like in Teen Wolf style, I wouldn't tell you, but like in the middle of a basketball match,
If it
I would be like in the middle of a shot, and then I would go like werewolf mode, like right as I was doing the shot, and you would notice.
I think if you just joined, if you joined high school basketball at like 1920, I would just think you're a werewolf anyways. Because why would you be joining high school basketball when you've been graduated for 2 years?
I don't know. I could be like a vampire.
Do you think like basketball like rules committees would put lycanthropy in the same category as like roiding it out?
No, it would
I
be
don't
like
know.
like special like basketball, like wheelchair basketball. It would be in the same category as
Oh,
that, but like
no.
werewolf basketball. But instead of like being like disabled, you're like enabled. You're
Like-
extra enabled.
This might be racist, but I feel like it would be like a pet show.
No.
Oh, look at my werewolf. It can shit properly.
Severn, if you were a werewolf, would you tell us?
Fuck no.
Why?
You guys would fucking sell me to the government or some shit. I don't know.
I want to sell you to the
I
government.
wouldn't sell you to the government. I would just want to pet you.
Bro,
I'd
I would sell you to the government if you didn't make me a werewolf. My life is so fucking boring.
All I'm gonna say is, if like the government like came up to me and put a bunch of guns in my face and was like, "Is David a werewolf?" I'd be like, "Yes, he is."
Okay, you know what, Severn? You little bitch fucker?
I would sell you out in a second. I'm sorry.
You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
a bitch.
You know, Severn, you little fucker? I would not. I would never sell you out, but I would say, hey, you know what, Severn? You gotta buy fucking guilty gear. All right.
Well, so here's like, if it was like, if like, I got brought into like a thing and you were selling coke hypothetically, and the cops were like, is David selling coke? I'd be like, no, he's not. See, but if they came up to me and it's like, is David a werewolf? Whether or not you've told me you're a werewolf, I'm saying yes, you are.
What? Okay.
They know something I don't, dude.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's true.
like, what if you're put in that situation? What if yours like your house is literally blown up, and you wake up and you're just, like surrounded by like 50 men, and they're like, "Is Severin Jones a alien?"
Severn,
Okay.
Would
here-
you? And you don't know any yes or no. Would
Yeah.
you say yes or no? Is Severin Jones an alien? If you have like multiple guns pointing in your face.
Okay, let me explain Don't interrupt me. Let me explain the sensible thing that I would do. Yes or no is really stupid because neither of those are a good answer. I would say, I do not fucking know. Because Severin Jones is just my friend, and I don't think he is an alien. But if he is, he'd just be doing it. He'd just be doing a damn fine day job.
So you're saying you wouldn't be surprised if I'm an alien?
No,
pretty
I
cool.
would be very surprised if you're an alien because you look and act exactly like a human, and you have for a long time. I wouldn't probably just not explain all of this in depth to a
I would be less
Fucking
surprised about
alien officer. I would just say I don't know. I don't think so. But I wouldn't just say yes or no. I would just say I don't think so, but I don't know. If I didn't know that aliens were really concerned, and maybe if aliens can do humans pretty good, then he could be. But I didn't go to alien school. You guys, you're fucking alien CIA.
You didn't go to alien school?
Yeah, who are you?
The
Who
fuck
are
do
you?
think you are?
God damn it. You know,
I
I've
dropped
got a
out of
new-
my AP
I've got a new
classes, and this
question
is what I
for you,
get.
Severn.
All right, Jack's question.
So you would be honest with the government, but not us? Your silence says no.
All right, next topic, right?
Yeah.
No. Here, let me explain.
No. Okay.
No, it's funny if we go
Here's
to
the
the
thing:
next topic.
is I don't need to be told whether or not you are a werewolf for me to tell the government that you are a werewolf.
That's
if
kind
the
of
government
stupid,
asks
to be
me,
honest.
if the government asks me, they have enough evidence to kidnap me, and then ask me if one of my best friends is a werewolf.
But
You
what if
don't
you
think
did know?
I have the resources?
But what if
to
you
kidnap
did know? What if you did know he was a werewolf?
If I
and then
did
the
know-
government asked you, and they kidnapped you and shit. They had the evidence to kidnap you, and you knew that the government was going to kill him.
If I did know, I think I would say I don't know. Actually, now that I think about it, if I did know, I'd say I don't know. If I don't know, I'd say I did know, and I'd say
guys.
yes.
You guys, what the fuck?
An idea.
So
What,
I was just in Maine recently, right?
Oh yeah.
The fucking forests up there are really creepy. So like my brother's property up there, like they're beautiful in the daytime, but like it is so dark up there. Here in like the Boulder area, we're so used to like light pollution and just our nighttime is yellow. But up in Maine, oh my god, it got dark at like 3 o'clock and it was like pitch black dark. So dark it like swallows up your fucking flashlights.
Go.
Thanks, Raggy. But oh my god, just like he has this property up in like the Maine like countryside. Which the Maine countryside is just forest. There's no open fields. It's not like when you say countryside, you might think of like, oh, the fields are alive with the sound of music. Maine, it's woods, dense ass woods. And I was there when there was like 4 or 8 inches of snow, and you're just like
woods
going.
are densely silent with the sound of clam chowder.
So I used to think that the woods were creepy, and that just like quiet woods were just kind of freaky. And I grew up in North Dakota, and the Badlands and the plains, when it is absolutely silent, you don't hear critters, you don't hear branches breaking. There's nothing but land, and you can kind of see for like 5 miles. And that's the scariest part, is when you think you see something moving like 4 miles away, and you don't know what's moving, but something's out there. You just don't know what, because the tall grass, it's like 3 feet tall, is covered in a foot of snow.
Yeah, that's
It's-
like.
Oh.
I went out back and while I was up in Maine, I just went out in the backyard because my brother's house is right up against a forest, and actually a little valley. So not only is it a forest, but how far you can see, there's just a sharp drop as the hill declines into a pond, and like you can't. It's so quiet. It's so still. It's so dark. What you can see is like the trees are just so dense. They're not like the trees we have here, where they're like, foot in diameter. No, they're like there's like fucking. They're maybe 3 inches to 5 inches in diameter, and they're dense as fuck.
Yeah, and it might not be quite the same, or I'm sure it is, but like I spent the first probably 5 years of my life in Georgia, and that's not something that I really remember. I don't really remember what the fuck even happened last week. But anyway, like driving around in Georgia, or like anyone who's listening to this who's from the South or has been to the South knows, like you'll just be driving on some road, and there will just be like miles and miles of forest, like dense, lush green forest for a really long span. I guess Sam was the same situation.
Yeah, no. I actually kept going back there, and I lived there on and off for a good few years, and I vividly remember going into the forest. It was like super dense. The trees were a bit thicker, but like it was still really dense, and it just so much of it was just kind of unpopulated. Like we, my cousin and I used to chill around. It's like near Fort Benning. It's what's the town called? I can't recall, but it's like right near Fort Benning, and we would go into the woods, and there was this abandoned, burned down house that we kind of like made a fort in, and there was like a box on the second story, and half of the second story was like gone, and the entire roof was gone. It was like half burned to shit, and like there was a little box up there that we'd have to like fucking parkour to. We were dumbass like 8 year olds. We could have easily like broken a leg and nobody would have found us in there. But we stored like a bunch of food and like water and cool trinkets and shit we found in there. And I'm sure that it's still there, rotten as hell and like full of like a bunch of random shit. But I bet that nobody's found that besides us because like it's so dense out there and it's so like miles and miles long. Getting lost in there is so easy. It's just kind of spooky, especially at night. We would only go there during the day.
You know what I bet that was?
What?
Like an abandoned moonshine shack.
Really?
Because fucking making moonshine, super like the biggest danger is like the art, like the danger that it'll catch fire. So like if you drive through Appalachia, my brothers told me about how like you see dozens upon dozens burned down shacks, just old moonshine shacks that burned down during production.
I've actually my uncle, he has a friend who's a moonshiner and he like lived in the woods and he had a shack that was kind of similar, but it was only one story and a lot smaller. And like yeah, no, I don't know. It could have been, but it would have been like a bigger operation, I think. Because this place was like
Could have been moonshine and a house, maybe.
fair enough, yeah.
Don't tell my mom, but I used to explore fucking abandoned meth houses. Straight up.
You
Tell me
shouldn't do
about
that.
that. Hold
So just
Bad
north.
for your health.
Okay. So before all those new houses were built, just not north, west of the school. So you know all those new houses that were built west of the school while we were going to school.
Yeah.
Further, all the way to that main street, not the main street, but like that big old the faster street that went all the way to Boulder. There was a patch of trees. Do you guys remember that? Like 3-4 years ago, there was a patch of trees that was on the very end of Nelson and whatever that road is. That is west of school.
Highway something something.
Yeah, I think it was a highway. No, I know straight up. I think it was a highway. Anyways, there was a trailer hidden in those trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Did you all ever go into it?
No.
I went around it.
I've never seen them.
We fucked around inside.
Who's we?
Me, Andra, Mikey, Thomas. I'm not saying any last names, but a good chunk of people.
Was it Metalhead Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah, Metalhead Thomas would
No,
explore
I
that
didn't
with
know.
you.
We fucked around in that place, dude. We straight up found like broken crack pipes. No, I'm not even kidding. And that wasn't the only place. We explored a couple places like off of Maine where like homeless people would hang out. I don't know. We just looked at them.
Dude, can I throw a pause up really quick and say that just sounds like an RPG or something? Like you're just you got like Metalhead Thomas as your follower and you're just like exploring and you're like oh fucking break through the door and get into the old abandoned
Find the
van.
crack
You're like
pipe.
oh shit. oh, this item is just like junk value, a broken crack pipe, but I can sell it to the vendor for $3.
Make sure to sneak or you'll alert the feral ghoul.
Feral Ghoul's just a meth head and fell asleep. Dude, we are so lucky that we didn't just get fucked up by somebody who was there. We were a bunch of like 14, 15-year-olds.
Have
What
you
could have
seen videos
stopped
of
some
people who
dude with a
take
knife from
Flocka?
just stabbing us all?
What?
Moral conscious, maybe?
Have you seen people
They're
like
meth heads,
videos of
dude.
people who take Flocka?
No.
Like Flocka, I don't really remember. I just saw some video from Vice of it was talking about like this drug called Flocka, and if you like overdose on it, it makes you go crazy and like get really fucking strong and insane or something like that.
Like bath salts?
Kind of.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it might be a different thing, but there was like some video I saw where someone, like got like shot with a taser, and he was just like, "Oh shit!" and he didn't fall over, and he just like
It like
tried to pull that out and kept walking at them to just shoot him with another
it gives
taser.
you like the adrenaline burst of cocaine, but like the damage immunity and the lack of impulse control of bath salts.
Fuck,
So
dude.
you're high energy, you can't feel anything, you have no ability to stop yourself.
Hell
So you
yeah.
did like end up eating faces like bath salts. That was wild. You guys hear about that?
Yeah.
That happened a long time ago.
You should tell about the theory you had about druggies used as protection. You got
All
it.
right. So
Take the floor.
back in like I think I was a junior. I used to come up with ways to make everything better. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyways, we would here's my school.
He's talking about sex for those who don't understand.
If there is sex involved in this, there's problems. This is about protecting schools from school shooters. So, hear me out. We hire these guys.
After hours.
We give them a little bit of money
hours.
every day, just to kind of be there at the school, kind of just be a druggie, just kind of hang out. It's like 40-year-old meth head. Right.
Okay.
When
This sounds like a good idea.
when the
already.
school gets threatened by a school shooter, instead of sending like police or hiding, we send the meth heads and tell them, if you capture this man, we'll give you $40. $40 in meth.
See, this is not. Would you all like to hear how he explained it to me? Because it was a lot worse.
Okay.
Okay.
Indulge us.
Let's
He said,
hold on.
yeah.
Just but for clarify,
Yeah.
the basis of his plan is to keep meth heads around children for their own safety.
Now hold up. Okay.
Oh wait,
So-
but they're gonna be in the closet. That's right.
Okay.
So,
So, basically, he said that we would when people who were like massively addicted to meth were captured by police, they would, instead of being sent to prison, be sent to cages like hidden under schools, where they would be fed the lunch scraps that the children throw away.
Yeah, that's where the trash cans lead. Like you never knew that. That's where the trash cans lead.
And then hold up.
don't go into the bleachers, freshman.
I'm following.
That's where we keep the meth heads.
You know that room where they like dump out all the like the mixture of all the different kinds of fucking milk that you pour out into one barrel into that drain? Like the fucking teacher assistant goes there to pour out the milk, and there's like someone clawing at the drain. Like,
They subsist off super juice. No. Okay.
That's not the
So,
worst part.
He then said they would of course be going through constant withdrawals without meth, so they would be microdosed to keep them addicted to meth. And then, whenever a school shooter attacked, they said if you kill him, you all get enough meth to keep you going for a while. And then they would release the cages and lock the classrooms.
Give them we give them like collars, and they wouldn't be able to like wear clothes except for like a little.
That's what he said.
They get like the dog location collars. Like if they leave the premises, they just get like tased.
Dude, no, and like he was like, yeah, you know, I mean, like they could probably I'm thinking a meth head who hasn't had meth in a while, promised meth, could take a couple shots from an AR and keep going.
All right, so I got a really fun article from Wikipedia. I haven't really said this on the podcast, but I spend a lot of time just hitting the random button on Wikipedia and reading some fun articles.
Oh yeah, tell us more about that, Severin.
So,
What a natural, just like, oh god.
so this is oh no, I clicked
Right?
So this is a Wikipedia article.
Transition. That's the word I was looking for. What a natural transition.
Transition. Alexander von Tunzelmann. So
That's not how you say it. Tunzelman.
Tunzelmann. Well, anyways, Alexander Francis Henry von Tunzelmann. He was born the 15th of June,
He's
1877.
got like tusks. I see it.
So he was a New Zealand crew member of the Norwegian whaling ship Antarctic, was part of the first group known with certainty to have set foot on the mainland of Antarctica. So this guy was like the first guy to ever be on Antarctica. One of the first guys. It's happened forever ago. Like before like the 1900s. I didn't think we actually got to Antarctica that early.
What was his name?
Alexander von Tunzelmann.
I see how. No, I can see the Pokemon now just from how you said it. It's one of the cutesy types based on your
Definitely.
delivery.
He had 5 children?
It had tusks. I know that for sure.
Okay.
Tunzel makes me think of tonsils,
I
which
can see this.
are
Tonsil.
teeth, and bone and horns are made out of the same stuff as teeth in my head. That's how I think it goes. But
Probably.
I'm imagining like maybe like a precursor to Miltank, or like maybe it's like instead of if Miltank is a dairy cow, Tunzelman is like an Angus beef, but it's cute, you know.
Yeah, okay. So it's like
Cool.
it's like melting but not sexy.
So I got some more information. His wife, I don't think he had one. But he had 5
That was
kids.
such a weird way to phrase that.
He didn't have a wife, but he had 5 kids. Right? He
Judging
land.
him?
You know, his wife,
I-
she didn't exist.
What?
He's from New Zealand, man. There's
Yeah.
still a prison colony back then.
He was 17
Good
years
shit,
old when
good
he
job.
landed on Antarctica, and the place that he landed was officially named Von Tunzelmann Point by the New Zealand government.
Good for
This guy was like important.
Damn.
Was he?
17 years old, landed, and they named the point that they landed at after him.
Maybe it was because he was the only New Zealander on a Norwegian ship.
To have 5 children, with like 5 different Norwegian women.
Well, I mean, the key word here is New
The
Zealand.
government was just like,
and
whoa, you had 5 children.
New Zealand naming
5
the point.
children lived.
I'm sure if Norway named the point, they'd name it after the captain of that ship, probably.
Dude, the government was like, yo, dude, this guy gets some. Let's name a point after him.
What a landing point after him, dude.
Tunzelman got like a 5 Pokemon party. He needs to get 1 more to complete his set. You know? What kind of trainer
He's
wants
the
to?
6th.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
Tunzelman is the 6th.
like they said, there was no like name of his wife, but they have all the names of his children. Ronald, Isobel, John, Francis, and Gilbert.
Did you mean to say Isabel?
No,
Isobel.
Isobel.
What? Isabel.
Isobel.
It's Isabel.
Ronald, Isabel, John, Francis, and Gilbert. Yeah, that's 5. Okay.
It's It's Isobel. It's Isabel.
Or we're just gonna skip.
There's
past that one?
there's this father. There's known of his father, but not his mom either. Do they just not care about women? Is Wikipedia like sexist?
Are you ignoring Isabel?
History is sexist.
No. What about his like
Depends on
potential
the
wife
historian.
or wives
Fair enough.
or like mom? Just as whose dad was.
There weren't that efficient of public records back then. They weren't keeping track of babies as much as they do now.
Who even likes babies?
I don't know, moms or something.
I like babies.
Pretty stupid moms.
I was bringing up the forest earlier because I really didn't realize how creepy the woods can actually be until I was in Maine. I realized we kind of like got past that pretty quick, but like, holy shit! It just
to be like spiders everywhere.
yeah. Have you ever watched Hunter x Hunter?
Yeah.
I have watched Hunter.
Kind of.
That's
I
a-
don't really
that's
want to
a-
get into it.
That's
'cause
a
it's so
balling
long.
show.
Yeah, you know
It's a
how
good
like
show.
people will like use their aura
Seven
to
by
just like
Fucker.
What? You
Fuck
watched
off.
One Piece and you won't watch Hunter x Hunter? Everyone, boo! Come on, boo! Boo!
Coward.
so like the way Hunter x Hunter like people have like auras that just intimidate you.
That is so cool.
like JoJo.
Severin.
That's just like JoJo.
That's what
No,
the
it's
woods did to me.
cooler.
Sam, did you have
Severin.
anything you wanted to talk about?
Nothing in particular.
I got another thing I want to talk about. You were talking about forests and how they're spooky. What was the like? If you guys have had a scary experience, like driving through them, like specifically in the Colorado like mountains, like you can have some pretty weird experiences driving at night. I have one, but I don't want to be the first one to share one. So if anybody else has a weird experience, if not, I'll share mine. But it's like it's not. I guess it's not that weird. It's more like just freaks me out in the moment.
I don't really think that I do. I hate driving at night and in the mountains, and in the mountains in general, especially when you're driving like next to a kind of like a carved out part in the mountains,
Mm-hmm.
where like right next to your car is like an immediate drop. Yeah, no, fuck that. I hate that. I know that I cannot die, but it feels like I cannot not die.
Yeah, cars are pretty designed to roll. So if you ended up falling off a cliff, you probably
I would
survive.
roll.
Yeah, you'd suck. You'd probably get hurt,
Yeah.
but you'd probably survive.
I had sleep paralysis in a car one time.
Ooh.
You shouldn't do that.
In a car?
I was riding in the back.
It's
And
probably like
in a
illegal.
moving car, you had sleep paralysis?
Like I fell asleep in the
Oh.
car. It was like a long drive. I forget. I don't know. I was young. I've had like sleep paralysis like maybe I don't know once every like 3 months. For like as far back as I can remember. Like
Nice.
I used to get it more often when I was a kid, but it's just kind of overwhelming. But like one time, it's so weird. It's like you can see everything and you can feel what's going on with your bod, but
You could almost move.
you just can't interact with it. It's like I wanted to, like my parents are like right there. I can see them. It's bright enough that I can see shit, but you just want to reach out and like yell at them to help you, but you can't. I don't know. That's a weird experience I had in a car.
No, I guess that's not really what I asked a question like, or well, what I'm going to say it's not really what I asked a question about. But I've experienced sleep paralysis once, and I fell asleep sitting up, and when I woke up, I looked down at my arms. I could just move my eyes, and I looked down at my arms, and there were bugs crawling up into my arms, and I could feel it,
Yeah.
and I was struggling to move. I could feel like I could almost move my arms.
You had like a sleep paralysis demon, yeah.
But it was the only time I've ever experienced it. But do Sam or David have a creepy forest experience?
I don't have that, but I have a creepy sleep experience.
All right, we go to sleep with that. Yeah.
All right. I actually like dreamt like 2 or 3 months in one night, and like vividly remembered all of it. Um, and it kind of sucked because like I dreamt like waking up the next day and going to school, and like I was conscious in the dream, like a lucid dream, and I could do everything, and I kind of like envisioned how people would react with me and stuff, and I went through about like 2 months of school, and it got to be it started in like it was like a September of my seventh grade year, and it got to be like halfway through my December break, getting into January, and like there were times that things didn't feel quite right, and like I was convinced that like I was dreaming and tried to wake up and couldn't, and so I just thought it was all in my head, but then I woke up like usual and went to school the next day, and it was warmer than usual, and I was super confused, and
God, I can only imagine like waking up that day and it's like 3 months ago.
it fucked me up, dude. It was really
think-
scary.
What if that's just like God hit the reset button, but he didn't memory wipe you? And all of us got memory wiped, but you weren't.
Like it wasn't a dream. Like that shit straight up happened, and God's just like, yeah, we gonna take it back now, y'all.
Yeah, like you didn't know it, but like on the other side of the world, like in fucking China, some outbreak happened. Like Akira happened.
Maybe
in China.
Satan
Yeah, like
won
the
and God
fucking
was
like
like,
Earth
oh
blew-
shit.
half the Earth blew up, and God just said,
It's like,
yeah, whoops.
Fuck, we need to go back now. I'll try it again.
Dude, I don't know. It just
Wild.
like
Yeah,
Like-
sorry, not to make light of that.
Oh,
like,
no,
that's
no,
terrible.
no, it's
not
fine,
not
like-
to make your life wilder, because like that's just crazy in general. Not to make it like, yeah, but what if it wasn't a dream? What if like
You just didn't
that was
forget.
all real and you just didn't forget?
no, it's fine. I like joking about it and shit.
Wait, what? I gotta research this. What is there? Like a number of people who can remember a set of months happening, and maybe they have some online forum somewhere. I gotta find that.
Well, no, that's the thing.
That sounds like a theory and a
I've
half.
definitely
That does.
I've definitely experienced my day and then woken up for the day.
I've not had that happen.
That's happened to me
I've
multiple times.
Kind of had
Not
that
as much
happen.
as like Sam had said, where it was like a month or multiple weeks. It had been like I had experienced like the first two periods of my class, but it wouldn't even be a dream. I just wake up, get ready for school, and I do it, and I just have like the most intense deja vu where I would actually get nauseous. Like there were my teachers always asked why like I left all the time first period. Like I used to get nauseous all the time, and I couldn't explain why. And I think it was because I don't remember my dreams, but I'm certain I have dreams. I don't know. I feel like I get deja vu constantly because what something happens and I'm like, this just seems like this happened yesterday, and then I get really fucking sick.
Before we get too far from this, by the way,
I might be crazy, but
like to anyone out there who gets sleep paralysis occasionally, shout out to Danny Sexbang from Game Grumps because he taught me
Danny
this.
Sexbang.
We'll talk about that in a minute. But he gave a great piece of advice on Game Grumps because they just kind of sit around, chill, play video games, and he talked about his own experience with sleep paralysis, and he talked about like how when you get it, don't focus on trying to move your whole body. Just like focus really hard on moving one specific piece of your body, whether it be like clenching your fist or wiggling your toes. And then once you can like wiggle your toes, start moving your foot. When you can move your foot, like try and move your leg, and just gradually try and gain more and more control over one piece of your body. And eventually that'll just like shock you into being able to move your body again. And that's really helped me because when after I got that piece of information, my own sleep paralysis, I could keep calm because surprisingly, yes, if you just focus on moving something small, you can do that. Like moving your eyes, for example. You don't realize it, but that is the one thing you can move. And then if you focus on moving your foot, for me, I wiggle my toes. And once I start moving my foot again, it all just snaps back and I'm fine again. Just gotta breathe and get over that. So to anyone out there who's dealing with it, I recommend that. Shout out to Danny Sexbang.
And if you're like me and have only experienced it like one time ever or haven't experienced it yet, all I did was I tried to force my arms so hard that both of my like biceps cramped up,
I wouldn't
and that
recommend
woke
that.
me up.
I would not recommend that.
It was painful, but it woke me up. It worked. I was like,
That's what you do if you're like a manly man.
really, really hard, and then my arms hurt really bad, and I kind of like blinked, and all the bugs are gone.
If you're a liberal, sex, homosexual, sex baby, liberal baby like Jack, then you do it the way he said.
Oh.
And like
Oh.
science and
Yeah.
that bullshit.
Well, you like science and not like hats, 10-gallon cowboy, redneck,
You're fucking
Donald Trump doll hat, Trump
Donald
hat,
Trump, Donald
MAGA Trump hat,
MAGA
fuck,
Trump.
fucker. Huh? Hmm?
Yeehaw. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fantastic evening with you. But I and the gentlemen, we are all feeling quite slumped. So we thank
And
you
drunk.
for joining us on and drunk, and for 3/4 of us, pretty high.
Mildly.
Good night, y'alls. We love you.
Yeah.
good night.
Cheerio.
I, on behalf of everyone else here, thanks you for tuning in. And yeah, stay out there. Happy 2021, everyone.
Happy 2021. Fuck 2020.